It's Darius ASMR. I hope you're having a great day, afternoon, or night. I hope that for you, forever and always, today, very special video. I know some of you have been asking for it, like here and there for a while. I'm sorry about the cars in the back, by the way. I'm filming earlier in the day. But it's long awaited for you, some of you, and for me, because I love this video and topic. And to combine those two worlds is just a dream come true. So today I'm talking about football. I'm talking about football, and I couldn't be happier right now. Okay. Here we go. So, I'm gonna explain the game. You know what, this video is gonna take a journey, okay? So we're gonna start really simple. And as the video goes on, we'll get more nuanced and complex. And if you want to stay for that, I fully welcome you to. And if you don't, and you just want the basics, or you want to just understand a little bit, not in a mansplaining way, but just in an informal sort of way, about an interest of mine and so many others, then feel free to just stay for that too. Okay, without further yap, here we go. Okay, so football, I don't know when it was started, so don't ask me that. Football was, or is a game though, of offense and defense. It takes place on a huge long grass field, long grass field, much like soccer, but different than soccer. And soccer is also called football, ironically. But anyway, and in football, they play with a ball. That's exactly this shape. Actually, it's kind of, I don't know what you would call this. It's like a smooth sort of diamond shape in like 3D, but it used to be a ball that was wrapped in pigskin. So that's an interesting fact. But in football, okay, there's 4 downs. Ooh, I don't know what that is. I think it came from the ball. There's 4 downs in football. There's 4 downs. And the offense, they have 4 tries each, like, set of downs to get a first down, which is 10 yards. It's 10 yards. They have to move the ball somehow 10 yards to make another first down and renew their 4 down tries. And the offense, their job, what they're trying to do the whole time, is to either run the ball. They're either trying to run the ball or throw the ball down the field into someone else's arms without letting it touch the ground. And they're trying to do that for however many yards to make a touchdown. The big goal of the offense is to make a touchdown. And a touchdown is like the best part. And it's when everybody, including the players and the fans, and sometimes the coaches, everybody celebrates and gets real excited, and they cheer and they dance, and it's a really good time. So a touchdown is the big prize of the offense that they're trying to secure every single time, or as many times as they can, at least more than the other team. of the offense's progress. I'm gonna move this a little bit. It's to stop all of the offense's progress by any means necessary. They're supposed to cover the guys that the quarterback is throwing to, and we'll get into that. But their job is to basically cover everybody and not let them move forward. They're not supposed to let them move forward, because if they keep going forward, then eventually they'll get a touchdown. Right? Exactly. Defense is really hard to play right now, especially in the NFL, because offense is so exciting that the league and kind of just the style of play really supports the offense, because it gets a lot of eyes and it gets a lot of views on football. Exciting offense, defense not as much. So they really like try to help the offense be successful. Not like in a terrible way, but sometimes it feels a little unfair or one-sided. And that's how the game goes, kind of. That's just like business and sports, you know. They want clicks just as much as the next person. So the offense and the defense, by the way, the defense can also make an extraordinary play, and the prizes of their possession is really kind of between two things. Fumble is when somebody's running with the ball and they have it secured, and then it ends up on the ground. And the defense has an opportunity to pounce on it and get it, and then it can be their possession for their offense. And yeah, that's like one of the best things that can happen for a defense. And the other is an interception. And an interception is when the quarterback, and I think we all know what the quarterback does or is, but I'll explain it in a minute. But the quarterback throws the ball, and a defensive player, any defensive player, it doesn't matter who, they catch the ball instead of the offensive receiver. So that's what an interception is, and that's also really exciting. And the defensive guys also get a chance to dance and do their little dances and celebrations. And sometimes they coordinate it, and it's really fun and really cute and really nice. Yeah, so those are the two big prizes or highest things that a defense can accomplish. And sometimes off of a fumble or an interception, the defense can go the distance of the field to their end zone, which is where the touchdown is, and they can score as well. And that's like, they hit the jackpot, baby. Like that's the best thing that can happen for the whole team, because the offense doesn't even have to do anything at that point. So the Steelers are a really good team at that, by the way. So the offense of a football team, there's 53 men on the team, by the way. 53, 5-3. And the offense consists of both teams, sorry, I'm jumping around a bit, but both teams get 11 people on the field at the same time. 11 people. And the offense consists of a quarterback. And the quarterback, his job, he's the leader. He's the front man of the band. He's leading the charge. Normally the most important and also frequently highest paid person on a team. And his job is to hike the ball, get the offense started, and either hand it off, sometimes for a run play, or which is what quarterbacks are really for and really good at, is passing the ball. And he's supposed to pass it to these other guys running down the field in various ways to try and get yards. And football is measured, the distance is in yards, and he's supposed to try and get either those 10 yards for another first down or more each time. So he's really important he's the kind of the captain of the offense and sometimes the team. Okay, and that brings me to my next position, which is running back. And he's the guy, normally really fast and oftentimes pretty strong. He's the guy that quarterback can hand the ball off to. He hands the ball off to him. He'll go, hud, hike, and kind of just let the running back take off with it. And the running back has a important job, and I think in the modern NFL, specifically pro football, is what I'll be talking about a lot. The running back is sort of underrated. The really good ones are really good, like Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry this year, and Aaron Jones, sometimes Alvin Kamara, just to name a few. But they're underrated as a position, kind of, because quarterbacks just are getting so much use nowadays, and so much views, like literal views on like social medias and stuff, and just attention, and they always have in some way. But it's just received a big boom since the latest people have come into the league, because they're really good. So people don't value running backs as much, but I think they're super important, and it is important for every team to have some sort of run game, because that's how you kind of make it far. I think, especially in the playoffs. Okay. The next position is wide receiver. Now, a wide receiver is a really, really, really fast guy on offense. And there's usually the formation of the offense, and it's like, I think 5, if I'm not mistaken, 5 guys up front usually on the offensive line, and we'll talk about them in a second. But there's 5 guys in front of the quarterback. One of them is hiking the ball, the middle guy is hiking the ball, and the wide receivers are usually on the outskirts of that formation. And their job is to take off in the direction that their play is calling for, and just get open and catch the hell out of a good quarterback ball. That's their job. And the really good ones are really exciting to watch. There's this guy named Justin Jefferson. I think he's the best in the league at it. He's just so fast, so freakishly athletically talented. Athletically talented. It's just insane to watch. There's Jamar Chase. There's an old favorite, Devontae Adams. There's CeeDee Lamb, who I really like, but he's sometimes inconsistent. Just to name a few, just in case I don't circle back to these positions. There's the next position is, and also wide receivers have a really good chance to make a lot of big plays, because just throwing the ball, you can usually have a greater opportunity to go further, because you can run a lot without the ball, and everybody isn't necessarily focused on you until the quarterback's looking at you or he throws you the ball. So they make a lot of big plays and get a lot of exciting touchdowns, and running backs too, but that's usually when it's closer to the goal, usually. The next position is tight end. The next position is a tight end, and a tight end is called a tight end because his butt is so tight. No, I'm just kidding. A tight end is usually a pretty big guy, some LeBron James built MFer. Pretty much, he's usually tall, usually got a stocky build, and sometimes fast as well. Not usually as fast as a wide receiver though. And they are also a receiver, okay? So they do the same job as a wide receiver, but their use is a little different. And for example, the best tight end in recent years, Travis Kelce, which I'm sure some of you know about. He's really good in the red zone, which is 20 yards from the touchdown. That sort of range. And he's really good just because he's a big target. And he can kind of push guys off of him and get in space and catch tall throws because he's so tall and big. And it's really useful for down there. And just when you need a certain amount of yards or a play to really happen, and you need a guy that can almost guaranteed make some space for himself and catch a ball. So tight ends, Travis Kelce is a really good one. The Ravens, who I like, have Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, who used to be really good in the past few years. There's Cameron Braid, who I know his name, but I don't know what team he plays for right now. There's DJ Hawkinson. There's a rookie last year, Sam Laporta. He just exploded. He was really good. George Kittle. He's a really fun athlete. He's got a great personality. Those are like some of the best in that position. And last for the offense, last for the offense is the offensive lineman. And there's 5 of these guys. 5 of these guys normally. I don't know if that's all the time, but 5 of them normally blocking for the quarterback. And they are also underrated a lot by teams. The good ones know the importance. The good teams know the importance of an offensive lineman, but some teams don't really get that, or injuries and everything. But offensive linemen are super important because they're in charge of leading the running back when he gets the ball, which the running back is super dependent on them because they create what we call holes in the defense, and they just create little paths for the running back to run through or run behind, and that's super important to a running game. And vice versa, the quarterback really needs them to hold up and block the guys that are trying to get to the quarterback so he has time and gets to keep his cool and not worry about getting hit, which is never a sure thing all the time, but it helps the quarterback to really make good decisions in his judgment and not to be stressed in his throwing motion, his throwing area, which they call the quarterback pocket. Defense. Okay. Defense. A big part of the defense, a lot of defenses, is the defensive line. And these are the guys opposite of the offensive line. And their job is to either get to the running back, if they're running, obviously, or not obviously, but every defensive player's job is to get to the running back and bring him down at some point. But defensive linemen, when it's a pass play, their job is to get through and do their little spin moves and really use their strength and bodies to push through and get to the quarterback and make him nervous and make him sweat and just make him a little off kilter, so maybe he makes a bad throw, or they get a sack, which is tackling the quarterback before he's thrown the ball, or maybe a fumble. Sometimes they'll hit the ball out of the quarterback's hands as he's throwing it, or just running around, which is really cool for a defensive lineman. And there are some really good ones all around the league, and it's really cool to watch because they're just really, the manliest, strongest of men on the field. Offensive linemen too, but you just get to see these guys be really aggressive in their defense because they're going after something instead of preventing something. Okay. Next is linebackers. A linebacker is a guy who stands directly behind the defensive lineman. He's just maybe like a couple feet or yards back. And they kind of have a flex times they'll act as defensive linemen on a blitz, a blitz, a blitz, a blitz, and they'll go for the quarterback or just run straight to whoever has the ball. And other times, which is probably the more important part of their job, is to cover the middle of the field. So if this is the field, say this is, okay, this is the offense, this is the defense. Okay, so the offensive line would be right here, and the defensive line is right on this line. Okay, the linebacker is like right here, and he's covering a lot of this. Normally, he's covering a lot of the middle of the field, or sometimes there's a thing called man coverage, and that happens. You just pick a guy that you want to follow, and you run around and chase him, and try to not let him get the ball. And that's what a linebacker does. Next is cornerback, 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 or defensive back. But let's just say cornerback for right now. A cornerback, his whole thing, and he has, women can play football too, as well. But their job is to also their job is to follow the wide receivers, which is, some would say, the hardest job on the field, because it's very reactionary, and they just have to pretty much, if they're really smart, they can recognize a formation or something and kind of predict what a wide receiver will do, or just the situation and kind of predict. But a lot of times it's just reaction time and guesswork, and being really talented, and speed and athleticism to be able to stop the wide receiver from getting the ball by either just running really close to them, and making the quarterback nervous to throw the ball their way, or breaking up a pass if the quarterback chooses to throw it. It's a really hard job, because it's harder to react than to act, especially in a game that moves so very fast. It's difficult, and I have the utmost respect for cornerbacks. And there's not a lot of really great ones. So, that tells you something. But there are some good ones. I won't go through every great player at every position, because that'll take forever. But in the next position on the defense, which is the last one I'll talk about, is the safety. And his job is to maintain safety on the field. I'm just joking, that was a joke. His job is similar to the cornerback. He's kind of like a mix of cornerback and linebacker, actually. I'm kind of just now realizing, because he kind of hovers a lot of times the middle of the field. Sometimes they have a few safeties, but their job is to guard really deep and far back on the field in case the wide receivers run back there, which a lot of times they do, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But his job is to make sure that part of the field is covered. Once they get past the corners, who are really guarding the sides a lot of times, again, unless it's man, in which they follow somebody, but they guard the sides a lot of times, and the corners. A safety really does the middle and just deep routes, deep runs by the wide receivers, and they're supposed to cover that and make sure nothing flies back there. They're supposed to make sure nothing flies back there. And yeah, okay. There's conferences to football, which I won't lie to you, I'm really not familiar with. And this starts to get a little deeper as well, because I'm really not familiar with. I don't know how they make or choose who's in whose conference. I really don't know that. I've never understood that. I understand basketball in that way, I don't really understand the NFL's conference system. But basically, there's two conferences, and it's the AFC and the NFC. And I don't know really what dictates that. I wish I could tell you more. I know that the AFC has really, like, a bunch of good quarterbacks. Both do. But the AFC has some of the best of the best. And the NFC is kind of just like some more like put together teams with a few really, really good quarterbacks. But yeah. And in each conference, both of the two conferences, there's 4 divisions, I think, of 4 teams each. So I think 32 teams in total. I'm doing fast math. And I also don't know what dictates, who goes into whose division. But I can say that throughout the season, teams in the same conference and same division play each other a lot. Teams in the same conference will play each other more often than the other, and in the same division will play each other even more. Just because I guess it's meant to be that way, And in the playoffs, both conferences play the teams that are in their conference in order to make it up and up and up and up and up to the Super Bowl, which is the big game that most people know about. And if you don't know, the Super Bowl is the biggest game in football, and it's when you've beat, a bunch of teams to go to the playoffs, and then you've won every game, which you only play once, and you've won each of those games to make it to the final game, which is the Super Bowl. And the best team from one conference, or the AFC, plays the best team from the NFC, and they go head to head, and it's really exciting, and there's a halftime performance and everything. Okay, that's enough on conferences. I'll tell you a little bit more. Okay, so here are who I think are some of the best teams and players. So the best team, kind of widely recognized right now, is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs. And they, right now, kind of have the best defense in the NFL, which gets you far, especially in competitive games. And they also have the best quarterback in the game. And while that's hard for me to admit, it is true. Just because he's shown it. He's very, very talented. Patrick Mahomes. He's very, very talented. Can't say enough good things. I mean, he breaks my heart by beating who I like. But that's besides the point. He's very talented. And I think the best player in the league. The best quarterback for sure. He's just great. And he plays for the Chiefs. So when you combine that, the best quarterback, with the best defense, you usually get a really good result. And this season, they're currently undefeated. Which means they haven't lost a game. Just in case you didn't know. Okay, I love the Baltimore Ravens because I love their quarterback, and his name is Lamar Jackson. And I've talked about him before, but I just think he's so great. And I love that he looks like me. And I just feel the want to root for him to win it all every year, even though that's not my favorite team. The Baltimore Ravens are not my favorite team, and not who my loyalty lies with at the end of the day. I'm a New York Giants fan. Don't come for me. But I like to root for the Ravens because in recent years they can actually do something and have a fighting chance to go to the Super Bowl. And right now their kryptonite are the Kansas City Chiefs. And other than that, they're pretty great around the league. They're one of the best teams to me, and I really enjoy them. in their squad outside of Lamar Jackson. I think they're cool, and they play gritty and also exciting. But, they're my favorites right now. A couple of others, I know Joe Burrow is another great quarterback, but his team isn't doing that good this year. So far. In the NFC, those quarterbacks and teams are in the AFC. In the NFC, there's the 49ers, and their name is literally a 4-9, like 49 ERS, 49ers. And they went to the Super Bowl last year, largely because they have one of the best, if not the best, roster in the NFL. Like, all around, on paper, they have one of the best rosters you can come across. Just like defense, a whole lot of players on defense, like really special players. They have a good, accurate quarterback, and his name is Brock Purdy. And they also had the best running back in the league last year. A top 10 receiver, I think. They just have a lot of athletic weapons on both sides of football. And the Giants are in the NFC. They are in the division with the Cowboys, which I'm sure there are probably some Cowboys fans out here in the fan base, in the community. And alright for you guys, I don't like your team, but we can still be friends. And I like CeeDee Lamb, so yeah, that's kind of most of what I had to say about that. I also like the Green Bay Packers. They're in the NFC, and they have a really good quarterback, and his name is Jordan Love. He doesn't have a large resume, so we don't know how good he is, but I like the way he plays. Okay. Yeah, and those are some of the best teams and my favorites. The Detroit Lions are also really good. They're really good. They really had a, kind of comeback from, or not even comeback, but just like a really endearing, kind of wholesome rise to stardom, I guess. Or, competitiveness over the last few years, which is really inspiring and cool to see. And they're just, I don't know, they're a fun team you kind of want to root for. Their coach seems like a good guy, and he's kind of built a good, strong culture over there, it seems, that the players and the city loves. So shout out to them. And last but not least, Taylor Swift. I know the committee's out. Everybody wants to know what Darius ASMR thinks about Taylor Swift. And it's so crazy. You guys are just flooding me with questions. What do you think? How's her album? What do you think of Taylor's version? Everything. And truthfully, I don't like Taylor Swift. Really, guys. I don't like her that much. I think that she's very talented as an artist. Just being able to maintain, this level of relevance over the years isn't easy, no matter who you are. So I can respect that, and I also respect, because I've seen some behind the scenes stuff, and she seems like she's really in touch with her, with creating her music, as far as writing, and production, and just being gifted at instruments and stuff. So that I really can respect and like about an artist and a person. It's just cool to be able to do that stuff. Her music does not connect with me. Her brand does not connect with me. And that's kind of just that. She has brought a lot of eyes to the NFL, though. That's why I'm talking about her. She has brought a lot of eyes and viewership to the NFL, which is cool. I think it's, less niche, I guess, as if it was ever niche, but just so many more people are watching it because her brand is so huge. And I don't know, shout out to her. I don't really feel either way about it. I kind of just like football and don't necessarily connect with Taylor Swift, but there's no rift there. It's just it's just new people into the circle of football, which I think at the end of the day is some sort of human connection, which is good for the planet. And that's what I'll say. Taylor Swift fans, I know you guys are brutal. Take it easy on me. This is just like my personal experience. I'm sure you could infer why. But shout out Taylor Swift, shout out Tay Swift, shout out the Swifties. You guys, as long as you're not toxic, you're good in my book. Okay, that's enough for the video, guys. Long video, crazy. This is like, you can tell I really like this topic because this is such a long video. But I hope that you liked it. I hope you liked it. Even if you didn't learn anything, I won't expect you to. But I hope that you liked it and enjoyed hearing me babble on about football. I used to play it when I was really little, by the way, and I've just been watching it since I was little. And my dad was a Giants fan, and I am, So, it's been a part of my life since I can remember. So thank you for watching. I love you. 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 And until next time. Until next time.